My name is Jesse Hall. I'm 26 years old. I started about 16 years ago because I was the one being bullied. There was a group of kids that always used to pick on me, and I wouldn't tell my father who they were because of fear of it progressively getting worse. We were watching a movie, a martial art movie, and decided that that would be the path to go. So then we decided to venture off into Taekwondo. I decided that I would stick with Taekwondo. It'd keep me busy so I wouldn't have to deal with the pressure of joining gangs or doing drugs and things like that. So really my decision to stay on the straight was what kept me in Taekwondo. I've been doing it for 16 years, actively training for 16 years. So to get up to that master's degree actually took me that 16 years. And I taught Taekwondo part-time to subsidize my training. My master at the time pulled me to the side and had a little heart-to-heart, and he said, do not pursue Taekwondo as a career. It's not going to be a good outlet. It's not going to be the way you want to go. And just all through my life, it's just everybody told me not to do it, not to do it. And then I met Master Kwok, and I saw the great facility that he had, and he pulled me aside and talked to me about the benefits of Taekwondo as a career. So I decided to do it for part-time, just check it out and see. And progressively I saw how good a program it is and what kind of lifestyle it can be. Then I made a commitment to pursue it and do Taekwondo with excellence and become a professional instructor.
My name is Dong-Ho Kim. I've been doing Taekwondo for 18 years. When I was young, I was in Korea. I studied my Taekwondo martial arts. Yeah, I was bullied in high school. I was bullied in high school and middle school. I was bullied in school when I was young, and I was always involved in a lot of fighting and hit other people. So my PE teacher told me that, hey, why don't you fight legally? So that's how I started the Taekwondo. Yeah. First time, I wasn't planning to become a professional instructor, and I never planned that one because after I got knee injury, I completely gave up on the Taekwondo. I thought I done with Taekwondo, and after I met the Master Kwok and came to America, I found out my other potential of teaching is like a repetition of instructor is very different. In Korea, it's not that much. We have a respect from others, but in America, they have people look up to instructors. Okay, I like teaching other people. When I look at their progress, it makes me happy. Yeah, especially younger kids and change their attitude or confidence level. That makes me, I'm doing the right thing.
I started actually in Van Nuys with Master Moon, and then I had to drop out because my dad broke his back. Years later, I started up again in the San Fernando Valley in Granada Hills. That's where I obtained my black belt. I was there for about 10 years. After that, then I relocated to Simi Valley here, American Martial Arts Academy. So I've been here about 4 years now. My first impression when I came to AMA was very overwhelming. My previous school was a very small school. So when I came to AMA, the first thing that I noticed was there was a lot of teenagers, there was a lot of black belts, and where I came from, I was the only teenager and one of the few black belts in that school that actually stayed. So I felt that it was hard for me to make a transition. My first impression of Master Kwok is that he's very, very passionate about what he does. I don't think I've ever met somebody that's that passionate about anything. He really the one that convinced me that Taekwondo is a really good career path. About 2 years ago, I received the Instructor of the Year award here. And it was just overwhelming because I didn't know how to take it in. So I've been doing this for years and years and years, and I've never had anything like that. To have that kind of applause and to know that I'm actually making an impact on these people was just overwhelming, and Even the owner, Master Kwok, he came over and gave me a hug. In 4 years of being under him, he's never showed that kind of emotion. So it was really a touching moment for me.
To me, AMA is a second hometown. Like without Master Kwok and Instructor Jesse and all the family members, without them, I won't be here today. So. In Korea, 4th degree to 5th degree, it just take 4 years. They don't have that much requirement, but here it's a little different. I have to essay and teaching experience, all that I need required for AMA instructors. Our AMA black belt is a very high standard, so especially when they take a black belt, they have to really they have to stand out. Master has a passion about Taekwondo, and when I look at his teaching, he's very enthusiastic to teach the martial arts. Actually, he's the kind of guy we can talk about only Taekwondo straight 10 hours. Yeah, he's that kind of person. He only think about just Taekwondo. Yeah. Actually, some of our parents and students know I left AMA like a year ago, and after that, Master Kwok gave me a second chance to come back. At that time, I was quit for 3 months, and I realized how much I missed the AMA, and I'm glad that I came back to AMA. Yeah. Master Kwok, he's always, you guys can do better. You guys, that's not you guys' best. You guys we can always be better. So he always pushes, give a pressure. And I was kind of burned out. I cannot do anymore. Still, he emailed me. Even though I quit, and he tell to Master J, we have another branch at Chicago. So he tell to Master J, he want me to come to Master J. So that time I took it, the chance, second chance. The most memorable lesson I learned from Master Kwok is leadership, because I always want to be a good leader, and it's still I'm considering what is a good leader or it's not a good leader. So I'm still learning it, but the most memorable lesson from Master Kwok is leadership.
If you break it down, Te means kick, Kwan means punch, Do is the way of life. Literal translation. Taekwondo is more of a mindset to kind of do your best to your ability, whether it's your legs, your hands, your feet, your thinking, your mental ability. You always want to pursue excellence. Even if you catch me at Costco, I want to be the same guy on the mat as off the mat, and I want to be that positive role model for the kids, and they're proud that I am their instructor. And for me, that's what Taekwondo is all about, is being the same on the mat as off the mat. When we step onto the mat, a lot of people, they change their mindset when they're younger, when they're lower belts. They change their mindset. They come in, they automatically respect the facility. They automatically show that discipline. But the second that they leave, they're a completely different person off of the mat. And Do for me is, once you step off the mat, you're still the same person. You still demonstrate that discipline. You still have that respect for everybody. You're that positive role model. Taekwondo, I think, naturally teaches you leadership. It makes you want to be a better person. We talked about that Do, and it makes you want to be that same person on the mat and off the mat. And when you become that person, you're just a natural leader, somebody that everybody wants to follow. Becoming a teacher has actually taught me a lot in many aspects. You kind of think more about the techniques. When you're a student, you just kind of go with the flow, and it's a feel. For me, it was a feel. I didn't really know the details of how to do it. I just knew, this feels good. Let's do it this way. Becoming a teacher, though, you have to think about the details of every technique, because some kids have different learning abilities. Some kids get it right away, and some kids just don't. They just don't understand. And for me, that was the struggle, was being patient enough to break it down. So for me, I learned the details, and it actually helped my technique, because before I was going off feeling based, which made my technique sloppy. And now I know the technique and I know the details behind it, which really cleaned up everything.
To me, Taekwondo is a part of my life. Before, I studied for compete, so that time was just one of my hobby. But now I find out I really like teaching other people. If I don't do taekwondo, I don't know what I'm doing. I could be more bad person, bad side. I was a very impatient and mean guy, but after doing the taekwondo practice, and I learned more. I think about more other people's and care about the people's feeling and self-discipline. I learned how to push myself. After I practice taekwondo, I more like optimistic. I think more positive, better than like a negative orientation. Actually, as a teacher, I learn more other people's respect. So, like for example, when I teach, sometimes they don't understand. Their fault, not my fault. But later, I realized that people understand that it's different. And especially in my case, I have a heavy accent. By teaching, I learn how I better understand other people. A lot of students, they start their martial art because they're scared or shy person. But later, once they started, later we can tell their confidence level is going up and their shyness is going away. So when I look at that kind of thing, that's like my best experience.